Hello everybody, and welcome this week to another episode of Talking Flutes. Actually, it's episode number 324. Really don't believe we've got this far, and we're still going, but gosh, you're going to have to put up with me for the next 20 minutes. Today, we're going to dive deep into a subject that touches every flute player at some point in their journey: the quest for the perfect flute. Open brackets, if that exists, close bracket. But here's a reality check. There is no single flute that is truly perfect for everyone. So in this episode, I want to explore why that's the case, how understanding this can change the way you approach selecting your instrument, and why making the right choice can truly transform your life as a flute player and musician. This isn't just a discussion. Can it be a discussion if I'm talking to a microphone? But anyway, this isn't just a discussion about flute specs or brand comparisons. This is about finding the instrument that resonates with who you are as a musician, and why that decision is both incredibly personal and vitally important. Now, this may seem quite odd coming from the managing director of a flute making company, TJ Flutes, who are our lovely sponsors and always have been since we started this 7 years ago. However, I've been playing the flute over 50 years, and I've learnt hopefully a few little chunks of wisdom along the way. And I've played many, many different flutes, and I've gone along with playing a flute that I saw somebody else playing and it didn't gel with me. And my belief is that everybody should play on the instrument that is right for them and not be seduced by what they see or hear from others. Let's start by unpacking the myth of the perfect flute. It's easy to believe that somewhere out there is a flute that will meet every need you have as a player. A magical instrument that will elevate your playing, solve your technical challenges, and help you achieve the sound you've always dreamed of. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from today's episode, it's that the idea of a universally perfect flute is a myth. Why? Because each of us is unique, and so are our needs as musicians. Our embouchures, the way we shape our lips, the direction and strength of our airstream, the way our hands and fingers move, these are all highly individual factors that influence how we interact with the flute. For instance, someone with a naturally strong and focused airstream might find that a certain head joint offers just a little too much resistance, making it difficult to play comfortably. On the other hand, another player might need that resistance to create their ideal tone. These nuances in how we physically approach the instrument means that what works brilliantly for one player might feel completely wrong for another. And it's also important to remember that our personal tastes in music play a big role in determining what makes a flute perfect, in inverted commas, for us. Are you drawn to the bright, penetrating tones that can cut through an orchestra, or do you prefer the soft, rich colours that blend beautifully in chamber music? Do you love the expressive warmth of wood, or are you captivated by the shimmering brilliance of silver? These are questions only you can answer, and they're critical to finding the right flute for you. Let's move a bit deeper into the materials and design of flutes, which are often central to our decision-making process when selecting an instrument. It's common to get caught up in the allure of different materials, whether it's silver, gold, platinum, or wood, each promising a unique sound and feel. But the truth is, there's more to it than just material. Take silver, for example. A solid silver flute can produce a bright, clear tone that many flute players love. But did you know that the grade of silver can also make a difference? Sterling silver 925, Britannia silver 958, and higher grade alloys each have their own distinctive sound qualities. Some flute players prefer the more direct sound of sterling silver, while others might find the richer, more complex overtones of higher grade silver more appealing. Gold, on the other hand, is often associated with a warm, resonant sound that can add depth to your playing. But within gold flutes, you'll find variations too. A 9K, 10K, 14K. A 14K gold flute will sound different from an 18K gold flute, not just because of the gold content, but also due to the density and weight. This weight can often affect how the flute feels in your hands and how easily it responds to your playing. Then, of course, there's platinum, a dense, powerful metal that produces a sound with remarkable presence. It's favoured by flute players who want an instrument that can be really projective in large concert halls. Wooden flutes are something entirely different. The organic material provides a warmth and natural resonance that can be incredibly appealing, especially in certain musical settings like Baroque, folk music or chamber music. But wood comes with its own set of challenges. It's more sensitive to changes in temperature and humidity, which means it requires careful maintenance. In other words, you've got to look after it. Not that you don't have to look after your other flutes, but wood, that's a league in its own. But beyond the materials themselves, the design of the flute plays a crucial role in how the instrument performs. The cut of the head joint, for instance, can drastically change how a flute sounds and feels. Some head joints are designed to be more open, allowing for a freer airstream, while others might have a more focused design, which can help with projection and clarity of sound. Similarly, the shape and size of the tone holes, the taper of the flute's body, and even the thickness of the metal all contribute to the overall experience of playing the flute. This is why it's so important when you're going to look for an instrument to try different instruments and see how they respond to your playing style. What might look perfect on paper might not feel right in your hands or sound the way you had hoped it would. Choosing a flute is also not just a technical decision. It's deeply personal and emotional, and any of you that have changed flutes will know how difficult this decision is. This instrument will be your companion for years to come, an extension of your musical voice. That's why it's essential to find one that resonates with you on a personal level. Let's explore the idea of this personal journey. When you start looking for a new flute, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer number of choices available. You might find yourself tempted to go for a well-known brand or to choose a flute similar to the one your teacher or a famous flute player plays. But I really want to encourage you to resist that urge and instead focus on what feels right for you. Consider this. You wouldn't choose a life partner based solely on their CV, resume, or the opinions of others, would you? You'd want to feel a connection, a sense of compatibility and ease. The same should be true for your flute. You need to feel that spark, that sense of excitement and joy when you play it. This is the instrument you'll spend countless hours with, practicing, performing, and pouring your heart into. So it really needs to be the one that you truly love. When you're trying out flutes, pay attention to how you feel when you play each one. Does it inspire you? Do you find yourself exploring new musical ideas when you're testing it? Or does it feel like a struggle, like you're fighting against the instrument? These are important indicators of whether or not a flute could be right for you. Remember, it's not just about how the flute sounds to others, it's about how it feels to you. So I implore you to trust your instincts and your emotional response. If a flute doesn't make you want to play it more, to dive into your practice, then it's probably not the right one for you. Does a flute have a life-changing impact once we've chosen it? Well, let's talk about that. This is not an exaggeration, but choosing the right instrument can fundamentally alter your experience as a musician and flute player. It's that important. The right flute can open doors that you didn't even know existed. It can make technical passages easier, allowing you to focus on expression and musicality rather than just getting the notes out. It can enhance your tone, giving you the sound you've always dreamed of, but never quite managed to achieve with your previous instrument. And perhaps most importantly, at least I think so, it can reignite your passion for playing, reminding you of why you fell in love with the flute in the first place. On the flip side, and there's always a flip side, isn't there? The wrong flute can be incredibly frustrating. It can make playing feel like a chore, a constant battle to produce the sound you want. It can limit your growth, holding you back from reaching your full potential as a flute player. That's why it's so crucial to take your time in this process and not rush your decision. Think about the impact this instrument will have on your life. It's not just a tool, it's a partner in your musical journey. You'll be spending hours, days and years with this flute, so it's worth investing the time and effort to find the one that truly suits you. And this is one thing I've learnt over the years, is where patience comes in. Don't be in a hurry to make a decision. Take your time to explore all the different options, so try out as many flutes as you can. It's okay if you don't find the right one quickly. In fact, it's better to wait and be totally sure than to rush into a purchase that you may regret later. So let's move on to look at another important aspect of this process, which is the importance of not being swayed by external factors like brand names, price tags, or what other people are playing. It's easy to get caught up in the hype surrounding certain brands, or to feel pressure to buy a flute that is similar to what your teacher or a famous flute player uses, or somebody you've seen on Instagram, Facebook, or social media. But I want to encourage you again to focus on what works for you, not what others think is best. Yes, some brands have a long history of producing high-quality instruments, but that doesn't mean that their flutes are the best choice for everyone. A brand name doesn't guarantee that a flute will be right for you. What matters most is how the flute feels in your hands and how it responds to your playing. Let's look at price. Just because a flute is expensive doesn't mean it's the best fit for you. Sometimes a more affordable flute might suit your playing style better than a more expensive one. So don't let the price tag dictate your decision. Focus on the instrument itself, not on the number of that price tag. Let me repeat that. Focus on the instrument itself, not the number on the price tag. And we'll have to cover this one because there's always influence of others. And it's natural to look up to your teacher, your mentor, your favourite performers, and want to play the same instrument they do. But remember, their needs and preferences are different from yours. What works for them might not work for you. It may do, it may not. So trust your own judgment and listen to your own instincts. At the end of the day, you're the one who will be playing this flute, not anyone else. So make sure it's a choice you're happy with, not one that is based on what others think you should do. So let's talk about the joy of the search itself. While finding the right flute can sometimes feel daunting for you, it's also an exciting journey of discovery. I've learned so much over the years at flute conventions, going into flute shops all over the world, trying an instrument that I didn't know existed, but also trying one with a world famous brand name and just seeing how it made me emotionally feel. I find it an exciting journey, picking up flutes and seeing what they offer. Every flute you try brings you one step closer to understanding what you truly want and need from your instrument. So enjoy the process of trying out different flutes, exploring their unique qualities and imagining how each one could fit into your musical life. This is a chance to learn more about yourself as a flute player, what you value in sound, and what flute feels comfortable in your hands, and most importantly, what inspires you to play your best. And I suppose you're going to ask, how do you know when you found the one? Well, it's a feeling more than anything. When you pick up the right flute, something just clicks. You feel a sense of ease, of naturalness, as if the flute is an extension of your own voice. It's an instrument that makes you want to keep playing, to keep exploring. There's a joy that comes with playing the right flute, a joy that goes beyond the technical aspects of playing and into the realm of pure musical expression. When you find that flute, you know. Seriously, you'll know. It's like finding the perfect life partner. You just feel it in your gut and you can't imagine being without it. This is why it's so important not to settle. If you haven't found that flute yet, keep looking. It's out there, and when you find it, believe me, it will change the way that you approach your music and your practice and your performance. To wrap up this episode, and I do feel sorry for you because it's just me talking, but I want to remind you that finding the right flute is a journey, one that's deeply personal and incredibly rewarding. Don't rush the process and don't let external factors influence your decision. Please trust yourself. Please trust your instincts and take the time to find a flute that you can truly fall in love with. Remember, this isn't just about finding a tool for making music. It's about finding a partner in your musical journey. The right flute can inspire you, can challenge you, and ultimately help you become the musician you're meant to be. So thank you for joining me on Talking Flutes today, and I hope this episode has given you a few valuable insights into the importance of choosing the right flute and why it's such a crucial decision. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review and share your thoughts with us on social media. That's on Talking Flutes on Instagram and Talking Flutes on Facebook. You can also email us any questions to either me or Claire to flutepodcast@gmail.com. Let's keep this conversation going and let's continue exploring the wonderful world of flutes together. So until next time, keep playing, keep smiling, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep loving the music you create. And ultimately, may your low C be incredibly in tune, because mine never is. Goodbye. Talking Flutes and Talking Flutes Extra are podcast productions by the Trevor James Flute Company. For more information, visit trevorjamesflutes.com.